Good afternoon, everybody. I, Vice Mayor Keating, call this Workforce Readiness and Economic Vitality Committee to order. Due to concerns over exposure to the coronavirus, the city has implemented measures to protect our community, including the closing of council chambers and limiting public attendance to electronic means only. Members of the public may attend the meeting virtually through Cisco WebEx events or view the meeting recording by visiting tempe.gov/WREV for more information. Call to order and roll call. We're called to order and everyone's here and review of the minutes. Let's see. The second item on our agenda is review of our committee meeting minutes from September 27th. Councilmember Readiness Savage, do you agree with our minutes?
I do, Vice Mayor.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is public comments. The committee welcomes public comment. According to Arizona open meeting law, the committee may only discuss matters listed on the agenda. Matters brought up by the public under public appearances that are not listed on the agenda cannot be discussed by the committee. A 3-minute limit per person will be in effect. Council Aide Alex Chin, did you receive any public comments?
We did not receive any public comments at this time.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Readiness Savage, you're up.
Oh, am I?
You are. You want me to do it?
No, that's totally fine. Okay, so we have no public comment. We're going to go ahead and move on to our current items and updates. It looks like we were going to be talking about, I think something that's important to the Vice Mayor and I both, is the design guidelines for our Tempe hubs. So we are very excited to just really understand where we are in regards to what's happening in our hubs across the city and what kind of design standards we're working on. And I believe Jill is with us today to kind of help us walk through the design guidelines for our Tempe hubs from economic development. Jill, is that you, right, I think?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Readiness Savage and Vice Mayor and community. Our hub design guidelines are coming along, and we're going to be giving you an update about where we are on that, talk about timelines, kind of what's included and what to expect moving forward. Next slide, please. Thank you. As many of you know, Economic Development presented an innovation hub strategy in March of 2018, and the council approved it. And the idea is to take measures and to build upon the innovation assets in the various employment corridors across our community. There are 9 innovation hubs, really 8 of which the city is most involved in, and then 1 is the Novus Innovation Corridor that ASU leads in our community. So the 2 that we're focusing on for the purpose of today's discussion are the Smith Industrial Innovation Hub and the Tempe Maker District. Next slide, please. So we're developing these guidelines with the assistance of Architecton. Architecton was hired as of September 1st, 2021 to help us with the development of these guidelines, to help, guide the look and feel of development in these areas, set standards by which our city staff, appointed and elected officials can uphold new development to, and really just help us improve and enhance these already thriving areas to become all that they can be in the years to come. I would just also like to point out the 2 areas. Smith Innovation Hub is located in a half square mile between Rio Salado Parkway and University Drive and 101 and McClintock. And the Tempe Maker District is located between Broadway and Southern and Priest and Kyrene in the railroad alignment there, bordering the east side of it. And I'll show you some maps now of what we're talking about for these 2 areas. Kind of gives you an idea. These are really important business and trade areas for us that have been identified. And there's some of our older areas that could really use a little bit of TLC in some cases, but also don't want to be remiss in saying that they do have low vacancy. They have tremendously successful businesses in them, and they are a very important and vital part of that plan as we move forward in both of these areas. Next slide, please. So these guidelines will help us to support, the urban look and feel, building design, form, and materials, It'll include some information about how that should all interact with pedestrians and multimodal transportation, what some of the public spaces and art and gateways could be for these areas, and how really adaptive reuse can be used to bring these areas up to this vision that the community has helped build in both of them. And we'll also consider along the way evaluation of codes and regulations that affect these areas that may need to be adjusted in order to help create the vision. Sustainability will certainly be included along the way, because we know it's important in all that we do at the city. So that will certainly be taken into account. Next slide, please. So what council goals do these support? Financial stability and vitality, really in economic development in particular, especially we focus on capital investment and job creation. And these are two, goals obviously that are near and dear to us as a department, but as a city, this feeds into the council's identified priority of financial stability and vitality. And as the design and look and feel comes to fruition in these areas over time, it will just attract more and more quality jobs and new investment. Next slide, please. So public outreach, as we know, is a very important part of most anything that we do at the city. And this gives you a sense of kind of what that outreach looks like. We've already conducted quite a bit of outreach in these areas, especially in Smith Innovation Hub in the last couple of years. And so you see some of what we've already done in these areas, because we did general plan amendments in both of these areas last year. We did some development guidelines that the city was able to pass with the help of council last year for innovation for Smith Hub as well. So you get a sense of kind of that we've been out there talking to the community and getting some really great stakeholder input along the way as we've conducted this. Next slide, please. So what's next as far as our outreach? We'll be conducting more in the months to come. We'll be working with the consultants over the next couple of months to really develop their draft, and then we'll be putting that out to the public in January, and with the hope of completing the Smith Hub guidelines in April. The Maker District guidelines will kind of be on a concurrent track, but maybe not completed until about a month or so after that. So they're kind of staggered projects, if you will, but they'll be going concurrently. And so those dates that we've listed there for completion, April and May for the two sets of guidelines, those are the dates that we expect to come to council with plans for you all to react to. So hopefully this gives some idea of what to expect with these design guidelines. And at this time, I'm open to take any questions.
Thank you, Jill. I really do appreciate the presentation. I mean, I think it's really good so we can kind of paint that picture for developers or, business owners, whatever that may be, that want to come to Tempe, so they truly understand, what we're looking for in those areas and how innovative we want to be. I think this will, obviously, it's not a mandate, but it's a guideline, just like you said. So I think it's really important that we're all on the same page. Vice Mayor, you have anything?
I do not. I think you said it very well.
My last question would be to Jill. Jill, is what can we do from this committee's perspective? What can we do to help you to, get the word out? What do you think the role of this committee can be to ensure that we're all on the same page with the guidelines, people understand the guidelines, and, help you with outreach or whatever that might look like?
If you would like us to bring this forward to the committee again with the draft plan, we're more than glad to do that. If you would like to attend any of our public outreach meetings, we're pleased to have you there. If there are any developers, businesses, other interested stakeholders that you'd like us to meet with along the way to share this with them and to receive their feedback and input, we're glad to do that as well.
We can certainly do that. And, we'll see how the future goes and adapt accordingly. I think the one thing would be great is if you could maybe send the vice mayor and I or the committee just a list of your stakeholders and your outreach groups and how that's going. that would be really great, I think, for us. And if there's a way that we can help with that, maybe even, through an open meeting or something to that effect to get some more feedback, I know the vice mayor and I would be more than happy to do that. So keep us in the loop, and, great work so far. I'm very anxious to get this done and get this agreed upon before the council. I think it'd be great.
Absolutely. We're glad to do that. Thank you very much for your support.
Great. Thank you, Jill. All right, Vice Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one back over to you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. The next item under section 4 is item A2, a Tempe Works update. When Tempe Works was in a working group, we asked the council to approve a supplemental budget request to help hire a coordinator. It's a complicated program, has a lot of moving parts, and I thought having someone there whose job was to keep the project on task and keep our individual partners and stakeholders working together would be helpful in increasing the success of this program. It's a program that's it's very close to my heart. It wasn't my first working group. That was the affordable housing working group I worked on with Councilmember Arredondo Savage that created the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. But it was the first working group that I brought forward to the council as a project that I wanted to do. So I'm very proud of this program. I'm excited that we're going to have somebody quarterbacking it. So I'd like to ask staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Arredondo Savage, and I'm currently bringing up the presentation. Thank you again. So my name is Paul Bentley, and I'm a Deputy Human Services Director here in the city of Tempe. And joining me is Liliana Urenda, who is our new Tempe Works Coordinator, and we'll speak together in here in just a few minutes and introduce Lily to the group. Our purpose today is to provide an update on the Tempe Works program. This update includes program advancements since the hiring of our new Tempe Works Coordinator on September 27, 2021, so just a few weeks ago. But we're very pleased to be able to speak on specific improvements and enhancements that have been made in that time and what we're looking to see in the future. We'll connect Tempe Works to council priority for those that are not familiar with this program to make sure that everyone is up to speed as to how this fits within our council priorities. Provide a brief overview of the definition of how Tempe Works works within our community, the partnerships that are necessary for this program to provide the services to those experiencing homelessness, and then move right into our program update. And again, we're very appreciative of all the effort and supports from our electeds for this program. And again, we feel that this program is absolutely moving successfully forward. We will also speak about our participants and provide an update on what's happening with them, and then speak about program advancements and what that may look like in the very near future. Connecting specifically to our council priorities is performance measure 3.2A, which is to achieve an end to homelessness as measured by Tempe's annual count. And in that, we specifically are speaking to move homelessness into an event that is rare, brief, and one time. Rare in that the number of individuals falling into homelessness lessens year after year. Brief is that those who encounter homelessness, that the time spent in homelessness is the time is lessened or more brief than it has been in the past. And one time, that as individuals are receiving assistance and maneuvering through the system and become housed, that it's a situation that the supports are in place, that they don't fall back into homelessness at some point in time. And Tempe Works is a program directly linked to all of those as far as rare, brief, and one time. As part of the fiscal year 1920 budget process, our mayor and council approved funding to implement Tempe Works. This program is designed to serve individuals experiencing homelessness by providing stable employment and a pathway to housing. Tempe Works provides structural and social supports for individuals experiencing homelessness. It assists individuals to join or rejoin the workforce, and it offers a continuum of care through various support mechanisms, most notably through our Hope Outreach Team in partnership with iHelp and other partners along the way. It strives to provide self-sufficiency and getting individuals into permanent housing situations. And Tempe Works is a holistic program to stabilize, house, and sustain an individual's quality of life as compared to a day worker program. And so specifically in our last update, we provided an overview of the differences between Tempe Works and day worker programs. And for the most part, what we can state is that Tempe Works is intended to ensure that we are working with individuals not only for the employment, but consistent employment day to day to day. And in doing so, connecting those to the housing opportunities so that they become self-sustainable, again, with the supports that are provided and offered. This program does not work without partners and partnerships. And so specifically, our current progress, partners that we're working with on a daily basis include community services and the employment that they are offering, our human services, HOPE, and housing services entities within human services, municipal utilities and the positions that they offer, Tempe Community Action Agency and iHelp, providing the shelter as one of our opportunities for shelter for this community, Corporate Job Bank, helping assist us in connecting individuals experiencing homelessness to these jobs and other jobs. And we're going to speak about that in a minute, about how we are recording that information as we are moving forward and currently have, as well as Maricopa County and our partnership with Arizona at Work, a partnership between Human Services and Maricopa County with a dedicated individual providing workforce development opportunities to our community and those experiencing homelessness. So moving into our updates, I'd like to introduce you. I'm going to put the camera on, or maybe I'm not, to make sure. I'll put the camera on in a minute so I don't mess up the presentation. But with me is Liliana Urenda. Liliana comes to us as having worked with Thrive to Five as a family resource center manager. So she is experiencing managing programs and working with individuals and partners in order to have a successful program. She also, prior to that, worked for the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation as a K-12 education program and coordinator, and has had a direct connection to the city of Tempe during that timeline. Her educational experience, she currently has a Bachelor of Science in Design and Architectural Studies, and she's currently pursuing her Master of Science at Arizona State University in Program Evaluation and Data Analytics, which is showing those skill sets already here with us in the city. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Liliana, or Lily, and let her speak about the goals that she has identified in this role since she arrived here about 3 weeks ago.
Thank you, Paul, and good afternoon to everybody. My goals as the Tempe Works coordinator currently are to provide consistent and holistic focus on the program, increase support and success rates for participants, strengthen current and develop future partnerships, expand workforce availability, ensure consistent connectivity to appropriate housing options, identify future needs for budget requests, analyze and report on data to improve effectiveness and efficiencies, and establish benchmarks to measure our program success.
So with those goals, I'd like to speak a little bit about the work that she has currently occurred with our partnerships and collaboration. And then when we move into the actual analysis of the work being done, Lily is going to provide an update as far as the tracking of our participants and with Corporate Job Bank, as well as some of the outcomes there, as well as the update on our participants. And so since her arrival, we have done a significant planning process for orientation so that Lily is able to move this program forward, continue to maintain what's happening and move it forward in a very timely way. And so in that orientation, she has already met with our Human Services Director and staff within Housing Services and Homelessness to ensure that those connections are here day one, which they have occurred. She has met she had an initial orientation with Corporate Job Bank that went very well. And we're going to talk about that consistent communication that's happening already with Corporate Job Bank. Our New Leaf East Valley Men's Center is one of our partners within the city that's providing shelter options for individuals experiencing homelessness. And so in addition to iHelp, which we'll talk about in a minute, they are one of our partners and a resource to those we serve. And Lily is already making that connection. She's met with our direct partners in solid waste and the positions offered there, how we're going to ensure consistent communication and understanding of whose role is what, as well as providing support for those who are participating in the program. we had a interaction and meeting with iHelp, and again restated the partnership there and the obligations of all parties as far as how we ensure that individuals are getting access to the shelter, connection to workforce development options, as well as working with Lily and Corporate Job Bank into positions here in the city or elsewhere. In the very near future, she'll be meeting with our new Deputy Director of Housing Services and getting a better understanding of those who are graduating from our program as far as shelter into housing, how our housing services is a part of that process, and connectivity, Care 7, and their relationship with this program. Again, meeting with Carter Ellis as far as Maricopa County's Arizona at Work, City of Tempe Parks and Recreation, which has a current position within this program in which we have folks available to promote into, as well as Tempe Community Council. So all of these meetings have been scheduled and are on the calendar, and the ones checkbox are the ones that have already been completed. And Lily is moving through these meet and greets in a very short order and making them happen in making these partnerships occur. So what does that mean? So we're meeting with a lot of folks and talking with a lot of folks. We want to make sure that that information is being used and put into action. And so this slide is intended to show what this means. It means that Lily is actually having daily interaction with our Hope outreach folks, making sure that as new individuals are coming to the table that may be good referrals for this program, that integration and communication is seamless. In addition to that, Hope assists us in making sure that we're providing the quality of service to those that are currently in our program and services. And that connectivity to Lily is really providing a good way for us to make sure that everyone is moving this program forward, as well as those who are in the program are getting the services they need. Corporate Job Bank, those meetings are weekly. And so already established, already happening, ensuring that we're getting data from them on a consistent basis as far as who has been referred to the program and who has received an opportunity for employment either within one of our city assigned positions or elsewhere. And Lily will speak on that data in a moment. Our Tempe Works partners, there's a monthly case conferencing, which means Hope, Corporate Job Bank, iHealth, Solid Waste, Parks and Rec, and our coordinator are meeting to ensure that there's a case conferencing amongst all of our partners to again ensure that we're in alignment with one another and providing that direct service to those that are within our program. And then in addition to that, Lily and I meet on a weekly basis. We're getting consistent updates, able to discuss what it is that we're intending to do and how we're moving forward, as well as to ensure that she's getting the support she needs from this role as well. And so from there, that's structural changes or updates that have been put in place since Lily has arrived, and we're actively moving forward on those. The following slides are going to provide some specific updates on the program itself and those who have been referred into the program.
So this slide here shows the program update for our referrals since the inception of Tempe Works in 2018. Right now we have a total of 41 referrals that have taken place into Tempe Works, and we're actively and continuing to receive referrals this year for potential candidates into the program.
So as it can be shown, 2021, we have 8 referrals, which is almost to the same level of last year. We are expecting to absolutely, have more referrals than we did last year. At the same time, the data is showing that we're on track to do so.
The next slide shows the program updates for employment. So some highlights to share on this slide is we have a total of 41 referrals with 11 who have transitioned to employment opportunities, and that's in the first chart, with 1 person in progress. On the second chart, initial placements. With the support of Corporate Job Bank, we've been tracking all of our placements and referrals. And while most of our placements have been made to the City of Tempe Solid Waste with a count of 12, placements have included other positions through Corporate Job Bank. In addition, we are now able to report on current employment status, which is the third chart shown. Our data shows participants have accepted positions at ASU, Walmart, a dental office, landscaping company, and others. So our belief is that we can continue to grow our employment options in partnership with Corporate Job Bank, as well as our Maricopa County City of Tempe Funded Workforce Development Coordinator.
Having sat in those meetings with Lily with Corporate Job Bank, we also established a clear understanding that as there are positions available beyond the city of Tempe, and we have individuals being referred to the program in which it makes sense for them to apply for and to move into those positions as well, that we want to ensure that that's happening, and at the same time we're reporting on it. And so that is in place already and consistently, communicated. In addition to that, I want to point out this area of unknown. In this top left corner, there's the conversation there about employee status. And so I'd like Lily just to speak a little bit about what unknown means, please.
So in this table here, with a count of 25, what is listed as unknowns, these are referrals or individuals who have been unable to be placed, and that's due to either a background and skill set that's not necessarily fitting into the positions that are currently available, a pre-screening requirement that the referral participant has been unable to fulfill, or a loss of contact with the candidate.
And so with all of that, our intentions are, again, with Corporate Job Bank and possibly other partners, to expand the number of positions that may be available even beyond the city of Tempe, and be more holistic in what those might look like, so that for those where we might not have a position that quite fit, that we expand the number of positions that are available, type of positions, I should say, and hopefully to reduce the unknown as we move forward. Moving on to the next slide.
So this is a table that shows the housing status of past and present Tempe Works participants. As you can see, there are 19 participants that have been listed as housed, with a majority of them being self-resolved, meaning that they've been able to make it on their own and be self-sufficient with their own housing options. So there's a breakdown of other housing options that have also been fulfilled, such as shelter, rapid rehousing, permanent support housing, and others. So our current participant update includes 2 participants with 1 person in progress. And what's currently taking place is we have 1 participant who's about to complete their 6-month tenure, who is currently listed as having completed 5 months of employment. And that person will be transitioning into Parks and Recreation. And I'm currently working on that transition with both Solid Waste and Parks and Recreation departments. And once that transition occurs, the person who is listed as in progress will fill the vacancy in Solid Waste.
So again, this is specifically with those positions that are within the city of Tempe. As far as program advancement with Lily on board, and the trajectory that we're on right now is that our expectation is that we're going to have greater support for our participants within this role. And we're seeing that now. Again, we're just so grateful for the dedication of the coordinator position and Lily being here to help really be that hub for this program on a day-to-day basis. Lily is working while she's in a part-time position. She is here Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till noon every day. So there is no guessing of, is she working today or is she working tomorrow? She is here every day. In addition to that, we see advancement in connection to additional workforce development opportunities, other positions as well, enhanced coordination between partners, and we're seeing that. The communication with those working in solid waste is just phenomenal as far as what they're wanting to do in support of this program and what we're able to do as well. Clear reporting capabilities to support future decision making. And so today, I think is very clearly a different form of update than in the past, and we're very happy to see that happening and very grateful for Lily. But at the same time, as if there's data that isn't here, information that isn't being discussed at this point in time that you would like to see on a consistent basis, please let us know and we'll find a way to, hopefully find a way to make it happen or have a very good answer as to why it might not be available. So with that, our Vice Mayor and Council Member, we are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Paul, thank you so much, and Lily, welcome aboard. I'm glad you seem to hit the ground running as far as, you know, setting up a process to communicate with our stakeholders to kind of hopefully operate the program a little bit smoother than it has been in the past. I really appreciate the in-depth information. A lot of this stuff, you know, we hadn't seen quite yet. So when people would ask me, you know, how many participants, how many are housed, and things like that, you know, I never really would know. So I would definitely like to see this, you know, on a consistent basis. I mean, it can just be, you know, some update, you know, every 90 days or whatever. You can send to Councilmember Arredondo Savage and myself, but that'd be fine. One of the things I would like to see somehow, and I do plan on asking for more funding, would be to create additional opportunities within the city for people to kind of get their start. Right now, we have the two positions in solid waste, but it's kind of a bottleneck, right? And if those positions are full, we can't bring more people into the program. So if there's more seats available to be that introduction, we think we'd be able to get more people in faster. And I know we have a high turnover and a high flake rate, like that's unfortunately the nature of a program like this. But I do think as many people as we can give the opportunity to, because I do think this is a very, very good opportunity. As you pointed out, this isn't just a day worker program. This is a real path to self-sufficiency for those who want to seize it. So, you know, that would be something I would definitely like to take a look at. And again, I'm happy to help from my position on this committee and on council to make sure that we all have the resources that we need to make this program as successful as it could possibly be. So I really appreciate the update. Welcome, Lily. Sounds like you're doing a great job. You know, and I'll turn it over to Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So Liliana, do you go by Lily? I just want to make sure before I call you that.
Yes, Lily's fine.
No, I'm sure, but I think the Vice Mayor said it very eloquently. And been a passion of his, and I had the pleasure to serve the committee. This come to fruition, and so it's many years in progress. And I think having you at the helm, coordinator, is going to be able to take this completely to the next level. So I know you're new and you just started, and you've already been able to accomplish so much just in this short amount of time. So I know we are both very excited to see what comes forward. I completely agree with the Vice Mayor about ensuring that you have the proper resources as we move forward. And if at any time while you give us those updates and you find that there are some gaps or things that we can be doing better, 100% please let us know. And if there's a way that we can help champion any types of changes or maybe some increased of resources, that's why we're here. And obviously we're talking about this because this is something that's really important to us, and we know it's important to the community to make sure that not only are we doing our part for homeless, but we're actively doing it internally. And I think this is just a really good showcase of who Tempe is. So thank you guys so much for what you do. Vice Mayor Keating, thank you for your continued passion and championing of this program. I think it's going to be awesome. Right on. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Turn it over to you for our next item.
Okay, right on. The next item under section 4 is item A3, which is supporting our Tempe veterans. As many of you know that have been listening to our meetings, one of the things that the Vice Mayor and I did first and foremost is we actually created the military banner program, which is actually called Elevate Our Heroes. And just so everybody knows, we took this forward. It's a great collaboration with DTA, our Veterans Commission, and it actually sold out. So we got to the point where we couldn't actually purchase any more banners. We're super excited. They're going to be seeing those very soon here at the beginning of November. But one of the pieces that we sent along was, you know, and I know this a little bit too, just because I've been around a little bit longer than the Vice Mayor is we've created a lot of different initiatives and programs that really help our veterans, whether they're our own employee veterans or our veterans within our community. Whether we're celebrating them, whether we're ensuring they're getting resources. And one of the things that we wanted to include when we put forth this banner program was to just really make sure that we have an excellent connection for our veterans and that we're able to do this in the right way. Because I feel like we have so many veterans things, but they're all mixed in throughout the city with a lot of different varying departments. So I really do appreciate Octavia bringing some of the information forward in regards to what we're doing to supporting our Tempe veterans, so we can kind of review it. They have some ideas and thoughts of how we can even make these programs get better, more sustainable, and really just enhance what we're doing in the future. So with that, Octavia, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Okay, so I believe I've shared my screen. You should be able to see my presentation. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Keating, Councilmember Arredondo Savage, and the Rev Committee, Octavia Harris, Deputy Human Services Director, and Veterans Commission Liaison Designee. I'm here to talk with you today about supporting Tempe veterans, as Councilmember Arredondo Savage stated. I'm going to bring forward for your consideration the opportunity to increase the capacity of Tempe to support and engage with veterans and their families. This purpose includes Tempe's Veteran Supportive Designation, Tempe existing and potential program and initiatives, partnerships and events that are focused on serving veterans and their families, and finally, a proposed Veterans Coordinator position that is focused on serving veterans and their families. So recognizing the importance of supporting veterans and their families who choose to make Tempe their home, city staff has, with really immense and generous support from Mayor and Council, and especially Councilmember Arredondo Savage, has implemented several programs, initiatives, and partnerships that target veterans in the community. Over 8,700, or about 4.5% of the Tempe population, identify as veterans, and this is according to American Community Survey data from 2019, looking at 5-year population data. And veterans and military families can receive all the services that all community members have access to, but can really benefit from having support that understands and focuses on their unique experiences. Over the next several minutes, you'll hear about Tempe programs, initiatives, and partnerships that do focus on serving veterans and their families. So the Veteran Supportive City, this designation was received in February of 2015. And notably, Tempe was the first community in Arizona to receive this designation. What this means is that Tempe has committed to supporting a community, serving as a community connection point for veterans, connecting veterans to education, mentoring, and workforce support, and also can advise on supportive, affordable housing for veteran families. So for instance, Tempe's Valor on 8th affordable housing development that was completed in partnership with the nonprofit Save the Family. Tempe has also earned the Arizona Veteran Supportive Employer, or AVSE designation. And this designation focuses on engaging organizations as AVSEs, or Arizona Veteran Supportive Employers, and strengthening, recruiting, hiring, and retention of service members, veterans, and their family members. The Arizona Coalition for Military Families offers this designations and through 2 hours of Veteran Supportive Employer training, and also 1.5 hours of military/veteran resource navigator training. Within the city of Tempe, applicants to the Tempe Fire Medical Rescue Department and Police Department support the efforts of military veterans and really want to attract individuals to public service who have served in the military. Veteran preference points are awarded to those individual applicants who have honorably served in the United States Armed Forces. The preference points program the city of Tempe has exemplifies appreciation for a veteran's service in defense of the nation and of the state, and really serves as a measure of the sacrifice these veterans have made in postponement or interruption of civilian careers. Just want to point out that preference points are not available for other roles in the city because testing is not required for these other roles, but the testing is required for fire and PD. So next, just want to talk with you a little bit more about Tempe veteran programs and initiatives that the city currently has. These include supporting veterans living or working in Tempe, and they include the Veterans Commission, the Veterans Case Management offered through Human Services Care 7, the Regional Veterans Court, the Tempe Hope Team, and Tempe Housing Services. These programs and initiatives also includes a focus on supporting City of Tempe employees who are veterans. So first, the Veterans Commission. This is an 11-member commission that was recommended to convene in 2014 and formally met for the first time as a commission in 2015. This was very much thanks to the efforts of Councilmember Arredondo Savage and current Mayor Woods, who was vice mayor at the time. The charter and role of the Veterans Commission is to advise Mayor and City Council and assist city departments regarding veterans programs, policies, and practices to help improve the quality of life for veterans in Tempe. Also educate the community on the status of veterans' rights, the needs and contributions to our community, to recommend ways to strengthen existing services for veterans while pursuing creation of new program and service opportunities, developing and promoting benchmarks as outlined by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families for assisting the City of Tempe and its business community in earning recognition of Arizona Veteran Supportive Employer. And assisting in creating and supporting a community connection point to inform, guide, and direct military veterans, as well as their families. And finally, to advise on supportive, affordable housing projects for veterans and their families. Next, just want to talk a little bit about veteran case management. As I mentioned before, this is provided through Human Services Care 7. So this is long-term supportive and navigation services to veterans and their families that get referred to by the crisis team of Care 7, by Tempe Fire Medical Rescue, Tempe Police Department, the Fire Patient Advocacy Services, and other community partners, like our nonprofit partners, such as Save the Family. Conducting assessments of veterans, making appropriate referrals to community agencies for a variety of services that may be needed by a veteran or their family. So that includes youth services too, providing services to defendants who are in the East Valley Regional Veterans Court, as well as the Tempe Mental Health Court, and providing compliance reports. And then definitely, like I mentioned before, those case management and veteran services that have had a number of clients come through and continue to have a great deal of success. Next, a little bit about the East Valley Regional Veterans Court, and it assists all veterans by not only addressing pending charges that are filed against them, but also addressing any life situations. And for those who may not be aware, RVC, or the Regional Veterans Court, is a collaborative effort between judges, prosecutors, and defense attorneys, as well as the Department of Veteran Affairs Justice Outreach Program and Human Services agencies that are all working together to assist the veterans to meet their individual case plans. There are other municipalities participating in the RVC along with Tempe. But Tempe also provides community supervision services and allows veterans to attend weekly meetings, conduct intakes, and connect veterans to resources that they may need. RVC was actually implemented in 1975 before becoming permanent in 1977. And again, eligible individuals who are coming through the Regional Veterans Court are referred by the Tempe Municipal Court or Prosecutor's Office. And as I mentioned before, social services counselors complete a comprehensive risk needs assessment using a trauma-informed approach, specifically for veterans. And then participants are, of course, referred to treatment if necessary. And we try to do so within the community. Okay. Next, I want to talk a little bit about HOPE and housing services. So Tempe Hope Team, which you heard mention of in the previous presentation, they conduct a point of time count each year. And they also coordinate entry and access for shelter. And we know that the Hope Team has a primary goal of making homelessness rare, brief, and one time. And we definitely want that for the veterans and their families that are in Tempe. They do conduct street outreach. They help with the navigation of mental health services. There's crisis prevention education, helping people to ensure that they're document ready to go into permanent housing, and also offers housing locator services. Okay. And so, and then with the housing services within the city of Tempe, there are vouchers that are specifically offered for veterans. And it's a partnership between HUD for the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing and then our local housing services office. And one of the housing developments that's made available in Tempe is Valor on 8th, which we're really proud of. So talk a little bit about partnerships. So the organizations that are shown here, Tempe Chamber Military Affairs Committee, the Arizona Coalition for Military Families, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, Save the Family at Valor on 8th, and then the Downtown Tempe Association with their Veteran Banners program that was just talked about. These organizations are external to the city of Tempe and have a number of initiatives and programs that impact or benefit veterans and their families. Through the partnership with Save the Family, it resulted in not only the development of Valor on 8th, but also ongoing management of the property by Save the Family and access to wraparound services that veterans and their families who are living at Valor on 8th may need. I also want to mention again, as Councilmember Arredondo Savage stated before, that the Veteran Banners program has actually sold out, and all of these banners will be on display during the month of November. So if you have the opportunity to be downtown, please look for those banners that are honoring the veterans in our community. Next, I'd like to talk about events. There's a number of events that occur in Tempe each year. For instance, on Veterans Day, which is actually November 11th this year, there will be a Veterans Breakfast as well as Veterans Parade. So information will be available through communication from the city's communications team. There's also the Tempe Chamber annual Red, White, and Blue ceremony, where the Kyle Brayer Veteran and Public Safety Award is given each year. This was actually an idea that developed out of the Tempe Veterans Commission. This award was first given in 2019, and it recognizes the contributions of a veteran working in public safety in Tempe and offers not only a really nice plaque or award, but also it's like a 2-day hotel stay. And it's a really nice offering that the Tempe Chamber has. And again, this was an idea that came out of the Tempe Veterans Commission to recognize the contributions of public safety, of veterans who are now working in public safety. So finally want to bring to your attention the proposal of a veterans coordinator. So Human Services does have a no wrong door policy, but a veterans coordinator would be able to serve as the primary point of contact, or rather the dedicated staff to respond to veterans and their families who are reaching out and wanting to connect with the city or connect with other services. This coordinator would ensure that veterans that are referred to appropriate services within the city, they would take the lead on planning and participating in events and activities that recognize and celebrate veterans. The staff member would also collect data, analyze it, and produce reports that are going to be utilized with the Veterans Commission, as well as for the city in terms of making decisions around services and other things. A supplemental is going to be submitted for this position. And there's a number of duties that are listed that are completed by existing staff, but due to just sort of time limitations, it's going to be really important to be able to have a staff member who can focus on the needs of this special population. Additionally, the duties for this role would be targeted support for any of the veterans that are identified via the homeless pit count who may need those additional services, and to ensure that there's follow-up there. Providing support for city's employees who are veterans. Currently, the ability to track the number of employees who are veterans and sort of follow up with them is limited. And so there's the desire to expand the capacity to do that. This position would conduct community outreach, create any new and maintain existing relationships that we have with other partners. and would provide support to the Tempe Veterans Commission, including developing an annual strategic plan and implementing any related programs as feasible. They would also maintain the veterans webpage and create content for a quarterly veteran e-blast that was actually implemented this year. The veterans coordinator would also ensure that performance measure 3.21, the outcomes related to that would be achieved. Currently, this designation, which is engaging Tempe employers to achieve a veteran supportive designation greater than or equal to the average of Valley cities as awarded by the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. We have a goal of 30 businesses in Tempe. Currently, we're at 18 that have achieved this designation. So a veterans coordinator would be charged with doing outreach to employers in Tempe to encourage them to receive this designation. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Nice. Thank you, Octavia. I certainly do appreciate that. I feel like, sometimes we work really hard to create new programs and initiatives, and then sometimes kind of forget that it's really important to make sure that we have the resources to do them and also the personnel to ensure that things get done. So I appreciate you bringing this forward. I think it's just really important. We've come so far from 2015 and the things that we've been able to implement. I just want to make sure, or hopefully we'll be in a position that we can continue these awesome programs and initiatives for many, many years to come. And it does need some centralized coordination. The one thing I want to throw out before I take it over to the Vice Mayor is, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. There's a lot more things that I noticed, Octavia, you didn't mention. And I only, and that's not, and I'm not saying that in a negative way at all. And I think it's because we have so many different things happening that they are in the hands of different departments. And so we have.
Hello.
Hey, Raman, you broke out for a moment right after you just started. You might want to start again.
David, I was talking is earlier that, because some of the things missing, and it's not, I don't mean this in a negative way. I just is because there's so many that we're doing for our veteran population. They're really being coordinated departments with different. So being able to centralize this would be super helpful in the point of being able to bring things together. So, one I will say I certainly support moving forward with, but two, I think that we really need to ensure that we are incorporating everything that we do as a community. We talked about Elevate Our Heroes, which is actually a partnership with the Downtown Authority. That's a council approved partnership that we did that includes Tempe dollars, that we allocated dollars to. Community Salutes, which is another really great event that we are committed to doing, that is actually being run by the third floor. We are working to put together a veteran employee support group, which you've fairly mentioned in there, but that's just kind of been through volunteers, different employees, and that's been really great. The Veterans Parade, that is connecting with our special events team, with Johnny and Linda. They've been really great. And then the Veterans Memorial. I mean, the Veterans Memorial is something that's been on the radar for a while. And
Robin, you kind of cut out right after Veterans
a lot of
Memorial.
development. I don't know why I am. I'm in the same spot. My best. The community involved in the Veterans Memorial, and the Veterans Breakfast is actually for employees. So that also has line item in the budget too, and that's much done by the third floor. Usually it was done by Parrish and myself and a few of the individuals. And that's just to show employee appreciation and recognition. And I also, you didn't talk anything about the navigator position, being able to create navigators within our organization. And the navigator training program is through the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. And then we have a really big partnership with Rio Salado in regards to the Military and Veteran Success Center. Though they have that closed down, they still have the ability to access it online. And they've been an awesome partner for us to be a one-stop shop. And then there's the Arizona Roadmap to Veteran Employment, which is part of the Governor's Office, the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, the ACMF. And that's just a big statewide plan. So there are a lot of things I think that are happening. But, that's kind of where we talk about veteran entrepreneurship and things to that effect. So many things that I think can be incorporated in that. And then lastly, to the second thing I would wonder, and I think maybe I did have a conversation with Andrew about this, our city manager, is where would this coordinator position best fit in the city? And I certainly do appreciate it. And Octavia, I think this got thrown to you because of your relationship with the commission. And, just to really have that conversation with Andrew and his exec team about, as this move forward, where would this coordinator position best be suited to fit within the organization? And I don't know that off the top of my head. I just think we want to make sure we get it right, because they really need to cross-contaminate with so many different departments. I want to make sure that they have access and they're not hindered in any way. And then another thing, I think it would be great to update our performance measure, because that one was really created back when we started the commission, and there's been so many things that we've done since then. So I'd love to see us do an update on that, but I'm very supportive moving forward. I'm hopeful that, as it moves forward. And I really do appreciate you putting stuff together. I think it'll help us just elevate things to a completely different level, just like we heard in that last presentation. So pretty cool. Vice Mayor, over to you. Sorry, I'm so winded.
No, it's okay. Appreciate your comments, and I appreciate the presentation. Obviously, veterans issues are important to all of us, are important to me as well. And I'm glad, all the information you've given, all the initiatives that we have put forward to honor Tempe's veterans and our nation's veterans are fantastic. I'm fully in support of a coordinator position. It is important that there is somebody kind of quarterbacking, these initiatives to make sure that they don't fall by the wayside. The city of Tempe does a lot, not only for veterans, but, for all kinds of groups, and we strive to serve all of our citizens as best we can. So it is a real possibility that, something might slip between the cracks. And I'm glad that we're going to have, hopefully, someone that's going to be keeping an eye on it. And Councilman Renato Savage, I promise you that when you are gone, I will make sure that this program and this initiative stays on track until such time as the voters chase me out of office. That's all I have to say.
That's solid. I'll take it. That's very cool. Any questions for us, Octavia?
No, thank you very much both for your support and for the reminders of that additional information. And we'll be sure to have those conversations with the city managers.
That would be fantastic. And then maybe when you get to a point, and Randy and I guess, Vice Mayor, I guess we have to talk about it. Would we take this back to the council?
Yeah, I think so. I imagine this would just be like and I don't know, staff will have to answer this, would be like the Tempe Works, coordinator. We ask in the supplemental budget.
Okay, yeah, let's plan on doing that. So let's just make sure we get it right, Octavia, and then we'll coordinate with Alex and make sure it comes back at a proper time.
Yeah, and to be clear, we want to do this sooner than later. We don't want a situation where it looks like, we're trying to, get something through past the goalie at, a late hour. So if we could get this supplemental ask in before the end of the year, I think that'd be best for everybody.
Agree. Good point. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do. The plan is to have this go in through the supplemental process, the regular supplemental process. So it'll go in during this budget season.
Well, we would like to take it to the council prior to that, even before the end of the year, if it's possible. And I think that would hopefully give it a little bit more weight as it moves through the system, hopefully. And I think we would like to hear from our council colleagues to ensure that they're in support of this idea also.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's see. I think we're on to the next agenda item. And do we have any new items for consideration, Vice Mayor?
Nah, I don't think I do.
Okay, I don't think I do either. Any announcements or anything that you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to wish everybody a very happy Halloween. It is my favorite holiday. And I hope everyone enjoys it and enjoys it safely. Make sure you have lots of candy for the youngsters. And if you, whatever you don't use, I will be very happy to take off your hands.
I'll give you all the candy corn I have.
And I don't want candy corn. Okay, I don't want the gross stuff. All right. You know,
Happy
the
Halloween.
announcements?
I would say happy Veterans Day to all of our Tempe veterans. That's awesome. And I did hear, unfortunately, apparently they are going to be canceling the Veterans Day parade. And that's kind of disappointing. So once it's firmed up for sure, that was just really hot off the press. We'll make sure we get that information out to people. But besides that, I think we're all set. Vice Mayor, right? Next meeting is Monday, November 22nd, 3 p.m.
That's right. 3 p.m. Same bat time, same bat WebEx.
Perfect. I love it. Great. Can't
All right,
wait.
we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.